Hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about tipping your server. Have you ever wondered why servers are so nice to you when you go out to eat? Let me explain why. Over my 8 years of working in the service industry, I've always ran into the same problem. People who either don't tip or people who don't tip enough. Reality is, when you go out to eat, you should at the least be leaving 15%, but preferably 20%. First, it's important to understand how much servers in the industry make hourly. Many people assume that we at least get paid minimum wage. That's false. In the table from the U.S. Department of Labor seal, you can see that tipped hourly wages are $2.13 per hour in most states, and this includes Texas. If you work full-time, 40 hours a week, you would expect about $85 on your paycheck, right? This is also false. When you deduct taxes out of your paycheck and assume tips, we make often $0 paychecks. So instead of getting a paycheck, we get $0 on it. And at the end of the year, when we have to do our taxes, the government assumes that we make 15% of sales. And the money we make hourly is not enough to cover that. So at the end of the year, we owe money back in taxes. Our income is solely based on how much we make in tips. In many restaurants, we have what's called a tip out. Now, a tip out can either be based on your total sales, or it can be based on your tips that night and how much you made. Now, this is an example from a tip out based on your total sales. 10% of your beer, wine, and liquor sales would go to the bartender. 3% of your food sales would go to the food runner. 3% of your total sales go to the busser. And 1% of your total sales go to the host. This means that if the table leaves you a 10% tip, you are having to tip out more to the other parts of the restaurant than you actually made on that table. So essentially, if you don't tip or tip bad, then your servers are paying for you to go out to eat. Another mistake I consistently see when working is math mistakes made on receipts. I know that not everyone's strong suit is math, but it's still not an excuse not to tip right. Instances where people think they're leaving 20% often come out to where they're only leaving, say, a 10% tip. And even though you meant to leave a better tip, we as servers get the short end of the stick and end up paying out of pocket for it. So here are some things you can do. First, you could download a tip app. You simply put in the amount of the bill, what percentage tip you would like to add to it, and it'll do the math for you. So there shouldn't be an excuse not to tip good. Next, I would like to highlight that tipping and service go hand in hand. Even though the tip doesn't come till after dinner, we as servers will remember who you are, whether it's a good tip or a bad tip. If it's a good tip, I'm sure they'll remember you for next time, and your experience there will be better. Now, if it's a bad tip, especially if you frequent a place, I'm sure the server will remember you and maybe not give you as good a service as they did the last time. Or maybe do the bare minimum. So in turn, the better you tip, the better service you will get. And most people like to enjoy when they go out to eat, so this would be preferable. So here's some things to keep in mind. Next time you go out to eat, tip at least 15%, and 20% would be preferable. If you leave a good tip, it'll make your experience better for next time. If you aren't sure about what to tip, tipping apps could help you. Also, I'd like to say that if you were to put yourself in their shoes and you were a business owner and somebody came and used your services, how would it make you feel if they didn't pay you. Remember that we make $2.13 per hour, and one simple rule you can live by is if you don't have money to tip, then you don't have money to go out to eat. Thank you.